to the PearlPoint webinar. I'm the moderator for today's webinar. My name is Abby Henry. I'm the Oncology Content Manager for PearlPoint Cancer Support. Our speaker today is Margaret Martin, PearlPoint's nutrition educator and registered dietitian. Margaret Martin is a licensed dietitian and nutritionist in the state of Tennessee, as well as a certified diabetes educator. Margaret graduated from the University of Alabama with a Bachelor of Science in Dietetics and received her master's degree in nutrition science and public health from the University of Tennessee. She has more than 10 years of experience in clinical nutrition. And if you have any questions about today's webinar, you can email us at guidance@pearlpoint.org. Okay, here is a quick look at our agenda for today's presentation, and we would also like to take a moment to thank the Memorial Foundation for helping make today's webinar possible. A quick disclaimer, PearlPoint Cancer Support is not a treatment facility. We're a nonprofit organization that provides education and resources for cancer survivors. The webinar does not provide medical care, so always talk to your healthcare team before changing your diet or if you have any side effects from treatment. So who is PearlPoint Cancer Support? We are a nonprofit support organization with the mission to create a more confident cancer journey for adults anytime, anywhere. We've been serving survivors, co-survivors, and healthcare professionals for over 27 years. We provide education and resources through MyPearlPoint, a website dedicated to educating cancer survivors. Our main focuses are cancer education, clinical trials, nutrition, and survivorship. If you visit MyPearlPoint after the webinar, you can create a free dashboard and receive personalized resources such as the Cancer Handbook, which we currently have available for multiple cancer types, including breast, lung, stomach, pancreatic, colorectal, esophageal, liver, and others. And you can also learn more about side effect management by watching the Eat to Fight video series. On the home page, if you click on Nutrition and Cancer, you'll be able to find the videos there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn things over to Margaret.
Thanks so much, Abby, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with everyone today. Our topic is very important to the success of your treatment plan for digestive cancers. We have 4 goals today. The first is to review the job of the digestive tract. Secondly, learn how colorectal and other digestive cancers may change your nutritional needs. Number 3, look for nutrition steps to cope with colorectal and digestive cancers. And as a wrap-up, we'll look at some reliable online resources for colorectal and digestive cancers. Next slide. We know nutrition and cancer can be very confusing, and so we're here today to help make some sense out of it for you and give you some proven strategies that help to relieve your side effects. So let's first look at our cartoon today. Food goes through a lot. This couple is at the grocery store looking at turkeys, both organic and regular, and it can be very confusing when we look at information. So let's look first at what the digestive tract does for you. Next slide. If we think about the ABCs, we can use that to help us think about some of the important jobs our digestive tract has. First, our digestive tract absorbs nutrients and fluids that we consume as food and beverages. Things like water, fiber, antioxidants, and other important things like protein and calories. This is what our digestive tract is absorbing. Next, it also balances nutrition for strength. It's very smart. Our digestive tract helps to balance the nutrients we need for storage, and also nutrients we might need today for strength. And strength is very important to fight the side effects of cancer. And then also, less known to the public, but our digestive tract also casts nutrients to other organs and important systems in our body for use, such as the liver, brain, our heart through bloodstream, just to name a few. Next slide. Also, specifically to think about the colon. What does the colon do for us? We don't think about it until it gets ill, but our colon equals out water and electrolytes, such as sodium, chloride, and potassium. It also finishes the last job of digestion, which is to move out waste products as bowel movements. And finally, our colon gives us energy for health and wellness by balancing out nutrition that we need and moving out waste that we don't. However, if you're not absorbing the good food that you eat, you could be at nutritional risk. And when I say if you're not absorbing, I mean if you are having diarrhea and vomiting. So we're going to touch on some of those side effects today. Next slide. So let's think a little bit about what the digestive tract really is. It's one of our largest systems in our body. If we start with the stomach, our stomach lies between our esophagus and the small bowel or small intestine. It's a very strong part of our digestive tract. It's about the size of a fist. It stores food, mixes it with digestive enzymes and acid, and moves food to the next step. Protein is also digested in our stomach. Next, the small bowel, or some people call small intestines, can be approximately 23 feet in length or more. It's actually a hollow muscular organ between your stomach and your large intestines. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter. And next you have finally your colon or your large intestine. That's usually about 5 feet in length. It helps finally absorb and move out nutrients that we don't need as waste products. Of course, these sizes are approximate depending on your size, and according to your age, they may be larger or smaller. Next slide. Well, what are some digestive issues that might relate to nutrition? Well, we all know that cancer itself and then the treatments that you go through can both cause digestive issues. These might be thought of as indigestion and gas, a sour taste in your mouth, also diarrhea or constipation. Very important is unintended weight loss and obstruction of your bowel. Of course, there are other issues you could have, but today we're going to focus on these 4 so we can get some strategies that can really work for you. Next slide. Some people say, well, why treat digestive issues? Aren't they just part of my treatment? Well, no, digestive issues can actually trigger other problems like malnutrition. They can delay or cause a break in your treatment schedule, or they could bring on illnesses like dehydration, anemia, infection, which can result in decreased immunity. But digestive issues are manageable. I recommend that you keep a side effects log. We have an excellent one on our website, my PearlPoint, and you can print that off and write what you eat and drink and what side effects may occur so that you may talk with your healthcare team more efficiently. Maybe you aren't comfortable with speaking with your healthcare team about some of these side effects, especially when they involve your tummy and your bowel movements. So I find a side effects log can really help be a starting point from that. Next slide. Well, the first side effect we're going to look at today is indigestion and gas. How can you go about relieving those or even preventing or minimizing them? Well, the first thing is make it easy on your digestive tract. Instead of eating 2 large meals a day, eat 5 to 6 small meals. You might think of them as mini meals. When we eat smaller amounts of food, our digestive tract, in theory, does a much better job of digesting them. Also, think about soft and low-fat foods. We have an excellent list of soft foods on our website and some low-fat food list as well. But soft and low-fat foods cause or require less digestive juices to digest. They're softer as they go through your colon and your stomach, so they're going to be more pleasant to your whole day and digestive process. Next, think about avoiding spicy foods and gassy foods. These can be sometimes made worse by chewing gum and using straws. Straws and gum can draw gas into your digestive tract. We may not have thought about that, but the introduction of this air can cause bloating of your tummy, which can be very uncomfortable. And finally, move. If your doctor allows you to have physical activity, take a 5-minute walk several times a day. Physical movements like walking, gardening, biking, dancing help stimulate the body's natural passage of food through your digestive tract. So that can be a great non-medication way to help resolve indigestion and gas. Next slide. Excuse me. Now, thinking about gentle or soft foods, what are we really talking about here? Well, one idea might be to use low-acid fruits and vegetables. So cherry, grape juice, cranberry, and apple are much lower in acid and tender to your digestive tract than, say, orange or grapefruit juice. So try those. Use more cooked vegetables rather than raw. Cooked vegetables are more tender on your digestive tract. Cruciferous vegetables that grow in heads like cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli cause often more gas, so you might want to try to avoid those if you're having a problem with gas. Plain noodles and pasta and white rice are thought of as soft foods. Canned fruits that are seedless that might be in light syrup. Cooked meats, eggs, fish, and fried. Try some of the low-fat cooking mechanisms like stewing, boiling, hot pot cooking, or pressure cooking rather than frying. Broths and soups made with low-fat items also are tender. And then cakes like angel food cake, frozen yogurt, pudding, plain cookies are great for dessert for softer. And using a soft meal plan like this temporarily will help manage side effects. If they continue, do talk to your doctor or medical team about that. Next slide. Well, what about other spicy and gassy foods? Well, some you might not think about. One is alcoholic beverages and alcohol that might be in medicines like cough syrup. It's best not to drink during treatment or use alcoholic over-the-counter medications. Caffeinated beverages can be gassy to some people. Peppers like green peppers, red peppers, hot peppers can be spicy. High-fat foods, or what some people talk about, rich foods, can also cause indigestion. So try to eat less of them, eat more low-fat items. And any fruit and vegetable that may cause gas in you personally, and you can track this by using your side effects tracker, but some common ones that trigger gas are cabbage, broccoli, and dried beans and peas. Other people might be sensitive to seeds, nuts, and peelings, so that might be something to think about as well. Next slide. Now let's think about constipation. What if your bowel movements have become greatly reduced? What can you do to help stimulate bowel movements? Well, one thing is to change the temperature of your foods. Hot beverages or hot cereal first thing in the morning help stimulate a bowel movement in the morning, so that's a great idea. Eat insoluble fiber, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. If you've been on a low-fiber diet, slowly add fiber in maybe small steps like 5 grams per day. Add a few dried fruits to food. This will help step up your fiber intake, and fiber plus fluid can help you have a nice bowel movement. Fluid is necessary for our bowels to move, and if you don't drink enough, that can actually trigger constipation in some people. If you're able to have physical activity, walk or move daily per your healthcare team advice. And think about making a prune juice cocktail at night. Some people drink prune juice at bedtime. Other people use baby food prunes with a tablespoon of bran and a big glass of water with some applesauce. And that's a great way to relieve constipation. It often acts once you wake up in the morning and start moving around again. If constipation persists, do talk to your healthcare team about any over-the-counter laxatives, stool softeners, or probiotics that might be appropriate for you. If one doesn't work, then another one surely will. Next slide. Now, insoluble fiber is helpful to help relieve constipation. What is insoluble fiber, you may ask? Well, it's a type of fiber that's not fully digested by the body. It helps solve constipation. Some good examples include bran, seeds and fruits and veggies, peelings of fruits and vegetables, nuts, grapes, raisins, celery, broccoli, carrot, onion, tomato, different types of greens, and brown rice. Now, foods can have both insoluble and soluble fiber, but they usually are primarily dominant in one area. So insoluble fiber plus great hydration all through the day can help resolve and prevent constipation. Next slide. What if diarrhea is a side effect you're experiencing? Diarrhea can be serious because it triggers a loss of fluids and nutrition from your body. Some ways to prevent it or deal with it is to have small, frequent meals, so your colon will have more time to deal with the waste products. If you're having diarrhea, be sure to drink fluid after each event of diarrhea, such as ginger ale, water, popsicles, or an electrolyte type beverage. If you want to make your own electrolyte recovery beverage, you can always use 1/4 a teaspoon salt, 8 teaspoons sugar, and 4 cups of water with 3 tablespoons of a juice concentrate. Mix that all up together and sip on that or make popsicles out of it. It's also fun if you're tired of rehydrating by using beverages. Go slow on really hot or really cold high-fiber foods because those can stimulate bowel movements. If you suspect you might be sensitive to milk, or what we call lactose sensitivity or lactose allergies, try using milk products that don't have lactose. There is lactose-free milk, as well as soy milk, almond milk, etc. Go decaffeinated, because caffeine can pull water into your digestive tract, as can high sugar, spicy, and artificial sweeteners that end in OL, like sorbitol. These are called sugar alcohols, sorbitol, mannitol, and they're found in some chewing gum products and desserts, just to name a few, that might be labeled as sugar-free. Call your healthcare team if your diarrhea persists more than 24 hours or as your healthcare team directs. After a day of resolving your diarrhea, you can slowly reintroduce soft foods. Next slide. What about soluble fiber? Soluble fiber is digested by the body. It helps resolve diarrhea. It also has some other great things it does for your body. Foods with soluble fiber can be things like oat cereals, lentils, dried beans, and peas, certain hard fruits like apple, pear, and orange, berries, bananas, cucumbers, carrots, puffed rice, applesauce, or banana or commercial banana chip products. So if you find that you have a problem with diarrhea, be sure to sprinkle some soluble fiber all through your waking hours. Soluble fiber actually helps form a gel around your bowel movement to keep it in place and it will go efficiently through your large intestine and your colon. Next slide. Let's think about weight loss. Often as adults, we think about controlling our weight and losing weight as being a good thing. However, with cancer treatment and during diagnosing or survivorship of cancer, weight loss can actually be unhealthy. Weight loss during treatment can trigger loss of valuable muscles, or what we call lean body mass. and the loss of those muscles can lead to other problems. So it's best to stop unhealthy weight loss as soon as possible. How can we do this? Well, one idea is to stir extra calories into things you already enjoy that you're already eating and drinking. I like to call them calorie boosters. We have a list of those on our website, but here's a few ideas. You might stir extra calories into hot cereal, into some of your favorite beverages, gelatin, soups, casseroles, soups or smoothies that you might make. Any creamy item really takes some of these calorie boosters quite well. You can stir them into popsicles you might make yourself or shakes. Well, what are some of these calorie boosters? Well, we have many of them here in the home. Things like egg white powder, maybe with heavy cream. Those can be great. Olive oil, a teaspoon or two. Dry milk powder. Cheeses of all types, like hard cheese, soft cheese, cottage cheese. Gravies and sauces are a great way to add extra 100 calories or so to a food. And they're also now readily available commercial calorie products that have little or no odor or color or taste. And you can speak to your doctor or registered dietitian about those. So the key is to stop weight loss early. If you lose 5% of your weight for an unknown cause, be sure to call or tell your healthcare team so they can initiate a weight loss treatment program for you. Next slide. As I talk with clients about helping them control their weight during treatment, sometimes people are drinking a lot of water between meals. And water, of course, is a great fluid, but it contains no calories. And sometimes will take up room for those more nutritious and caloric items at meals. So one idea might be to look at what you're eating. If you're drinking water with meals and not eating, why don't you try to drink water mostly between meals to leave room for your high-calorie items at mealtime? Add a bedtime snack or a high-calorie beverage. By eating at night, that doesn't usually interrupt any extra meal for that day because you are going to bed soon. So adding a bedtime snack is a great idea. It can be half a sandwich. It can be some leftovers. It could be a high-calorie beverage that you make, like a smoothie or a milkshake or whatever would taste good to you. Some people like to eat cereal at bedtime. If you usually use skim milk, try whole milk because that will have almost double the calories. Another idea is to make mealtime a happy time. When mealtime becomes a time for discussion about appetite or weight loss, it can make appetite be pretty much reduced at that time. So try to avoid any mealtime arguments. Make mealtime a happy time. Swap out high-calorie foods for low-calorie foods. For instance, if you always seem to just have boiled green beans, why not try a green bean casserole, which would have double the calories? Switch out your milks. If you usually put skim milk in your coffee, use cream. If you usually have low-fat or skim milk for a beverage or cereal, use whole milk. If you usually just use spray butter flavorings, try real spreads, real butter, margarine, gravies, or sauces. Next slide. Now let's talk about a very serious problem, and that would be a bowel obstruction. As we go through treatments and with the timeline of cancer, both things can often irritate the internal structure of your intestines and colon. If they're irritated, just as if it happens on our skin too, if we get a bug bite, there'll be inflammation. Inflammation can cause an obstruction, which is a medical emergency. So if you're prone to bowel obstructions, especially after colon surgery, be sure to ask your healthcare team or registered dietitian for a printed meal plan. Drink your fluids as prescribed, because fluids plus fiber make a nice, soft, contained bowel movement. If you have constipation often, that can often be a risk factor for an obstruction. After surgery or testing, give your digestive tract time to heal. Use soft foods or liquids. Often after surgery, you may be given a progressive diet plan that might start first with ice chips and then clear liquids such as teas and juices and ginger ale, things you can see through, popsicles and gelatins, and maybe even a clear nutritional supplement. Next slide. After clear liquids, your next progressive diet step might be full liquids such as foods and beverages that include milk and soup, like ice cream, yogurt, cream soups, and some milkshakes. Chew each bite well. Digestion starts in our mouth. If you're able to mix your food up well with the enzymes in your mouth, then they'll be less likely to cause an obstruction in your digestive tract. In order to chew food well, you need to have healthy gums and teeth. Be sure to see your dentist before and during your cancer treatments so you can take good care of your mouth and your teeth. Finally, the last step may be a low or moderate fiber meal plan. These are often suggested for folks that have a tendency toward bowel obstructions. What does low fiber mean? Well, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics often describes a low fiber menu to have less than 13 grams of fiber per day. A moderate fiber menu might be 13 to 20 grams of fiber per day. Also, if you have chronic issues like Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, colitis, you might already be on a moderate or low fiber plan. Next slide. What are some other steps you can take to help you reduce your risk of a digestive obstruction? Well, when you have a new food or new issue, be sure to write that in your side effects tracker. Frequent diarrhea and constipation, as we know, can cause a colon irritation. Colon irritation, as we said before, can lead to inflammation, which can put you at a higher risk for impaction and obstructions. Be sure to talk to your healthcare team about medications for digestive issues. Even some things that you wouldn't think about will be important over some over-counter medications may be in your particular situation. So I think it's great just to take your bag of medications with you for your medical appointments. And become educated about which foods and beverages may contain fiber. It is listed on the nutrition facts label, so be sure to pay attention to the serving size and the grams. High fiber food sources like bran, nuts, seeds, pulp, and peelings of food are high risk for people who are prone to irritation and obstruction, so be sure to keep those to a bare minimum. Next slide. So, in summary, keep your digestive tract happy. We don't think about our digestive tract until something goes wrong or we become ill, but it's a very important step in being well nourished. And when you are well nourished, you absorb the food and fluids your body needs. Good nutrition leads to good health. Good health leads to treatment success. meaning you're able to take your treatments on time at the same level and frequency. Be sure to use reliable nutrition information. There are over, I think, 1 million citations if you do a search for nutrition and cancer. Not all of those websites are reliable. Some of them are testimonial, or some of them may be trying to sell you products that aren't scientifically evaluated to be helpful, healthy, and safe for you. Here at PearlPoint Cancer Support, we do promote evidence-based information that is been shown to be healthy, safe, and effective to help you address side effects. And of course, ask for a referral to a registered dietitian nutritionist when issues first arise. At the eatright.org website, there's a link to help you find a registered dietitian nutritionist in your area by zip code. Well, thank you very much, and I'll be able to take questions now. I'll give it back to you, Abby.
Okay, thank you, Margaret, for a great presentation. Before we get to the questions, here are some additional resources on cancer and nutrition. I'll leave that there for just a second. You can always pause and view these later.
Oh, thank you for sharing those, Abby. Of course, our website is mypearlpoint.org, and then fightcolorectalcancer.org is another reliable website, as is cancer.gov, cancer.org, which is the American Cancer Society. And then oncologynutrition.org is the professional group I belong to. It's a practice group of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And it also has a link to help you find a dietitian in your area. And finally, AICR.org, that's American Institute for Cancer Research, has taken a big role in cancer research in the area of nutrition and physical activity. So that's a great area to look to. Thank you, Abby.
So let's see. One more thing I just want to slide in here is our Cancer Side Effect Helper app. It's a free mobile app that you can download to your smartphone or tablet. It's available on iTunes and Google Play. The app offers quick tips to help you manage side effects such as nausea, fatigue, and change in taste and smell, all at your fingertips. And I think I've got a couple more questions. One is, I've bought a juicing machine and I drink juices 2 to 3 times a day. Is this a good nutrition strategy?
Oh, I'm so glad someone asked about juicing. Juicing has been, I think, a more popular way to process your food over the last 5 to 10 years. Juicing often involves being able to use the food of the fruit itself or vegetable in liquid form. However, especially when it relates to fruit juices, that can pull a lot of sugar into your digestive tract. So if you're prone to diarrhea, I would use juicing less frequently, and juicing also is typically very low in protein because you're just juicing usually fruits. So I would not use juicing alone for snacks. I'd add something to it that would have some protein, like some cheese, peanut butter, nuts, soy, or adding some protein powder to your juice after you complete it. Good question.
Okay. Talking to my doctor about my colon problems is difficult. Any suggestions?
Yes, it is. We don't often talk in public or even to sometimes our family about our digestive and colon problems. I find that some of the clients I speak to, if they write down some questions ahead of time and take them to their appointment, they're much more successful in discussing what's going on. Also, if you take your side effects log or jot down, a summary of the log of, say, you're having diarrhea 2 times a day, 5 days a week, and show them your food record. I think that helps people talk because you're speaking from a script or a prompt. So I'd encourage you to write things down and to share and show your healthcare team. Thanks for asking that question.
And our last question, when should I contact my doctor about constipation?
That's also a frequent question that we hear. Everyone has their own bowel movement pattern. Some people have one good bowel movement a day. Some people might have one good bowel movement every 2 days. So if you deviate from that schedule and don't have a bowel movement for 3 days, that's a good time to ask your healthcare team what the next step would be. Often they'll have printed instructions for you called a bowel management program to let you know what to do if you don't have a bowel movement by the 3rd day. So stay in touch with your doctor and healthcare team about that.
Okay. Well, thank you all for attending today's webinar. Remember, you can visit mypearlpoint.org for more resources for your cancer journey, and as always, thank you for your support.